Hi there, my name is Caitlin Bandy and this is my channel Bandy's Books, and today I'm here to do an in-depth book review. And it has been a minute since I have got to review a book outside of my end of the month wrap up. I was doing a lot more of these in-depth book reviews, and then I got a little bit derailed this year by surgery and my return to work and all of that. But I am back to it now. I have been reading some amazing ARCs, and I want to do some deep dives into some of the things that I'm reading. So today we're going to be reviewing Hera by Jennifer Saint. This is a book that is due to be published August 13th, 2024 by Flatiron Books. It was also featured by Book of the Month as an early release for their August book box. This book falls under the fantasy genre and into the subgenre of mythology retellings. The summary of this book is as follows. Hera, a mortal goddess and daughter of the ancient titan Kronos, helped her brother Zeus to overthrow their tyrannical father so the two of them could rule the world. But as they establish their reign on Mount Olympus, Hera comes to suspect that Zeus is just as cruel and ruthless as their father. She then begins to question her role at his side. She was born to rule, but does that mean perpetuating a cycle of ruthlessness that has existed since the dawn of time? Will assuming her power mean that Hera loses herself, or can she find a way to forge a better world? I was really excited to dive into Hera by Jennifer Saint because I have read a lot of Greek mythology retellings. This is a subgenre that I really enjoy. I've read a wide variety of authors and a wide variety of characters. I got into this the same way that most of us here on BookTube have, with Circe and the Song of Achilles by Madeline Miller. And then it kind of just pushed me down a rabbit hole of reading all of these different feminist retellings. In regard to Jennifer Saint, I have read all of her previous works, so Ariadne, Electra, and Atalanta. I really liked Electra and Ariadne, but I struggled a bit with Atalanta. Unfortunately, I found that there were a lot of similar problems with Hera that I found in Atalanta. Hera is a character who's honestly ripe for a retelling. She's one of the most powerful goddesses on Mount Olympus, and she's involved in so many of the different stories within Greek mythology. She's often portrayed as a blindly jealous wife who punishes Zeus's mistresses and victims, whether they deserve it or not. This seems like the perfect story to spin a la Circe. At the beginning of the book, we see Saint start to go down that road, and she makes the case that Hera is not actually jealous of Zeus's mistresses. In fact, it almost seems like she could care less. She's actually instead punishing him for forcing her to marry him and for refusing to recognize her as his equal on Mount Olympus. Sadly, I don't think that Saint did the best job of making Hera sympathetic or at least relatable. I did feel some initial sympathy for her at the beginning when Zeus breaks his promise to her. I also found her relatable at times when she was trying to escape her marriage to Zeus. But then Hera makes a major characterization shift about midway through the book, and she goes from being clever, rational, and cool-headed to outright vindictive, careless, and petty. We are told often throughout the story how gods and mortals alike fear her, but we are not shown much to support the idea that she's actually fearsome. I also honestly found the plot of this book to be a bit exhausting. I know that the original story of Hera and Zeus is long and it spans many different tales, but sometimes for the sake of readability, you don't need to cram every single instance into your book. I think that this narrative would have been better served if Saint had focused on maybe 3 to 5 of the major events that really shaped Hera into who she was. Instead, she tried to shoehorn in every single conflict with every single nymph, mortal, and creature, and it resulted in an extremely repetitive narrative. Zeus does something shitty, Hera retaliates, Zeus retaliates, Hera sulks, gods and or mortals fret. Rinse and repeat over and over again. Now don't get me wrong, there are parts of the story that I did really enjoy. In particular, I loved Hera's relationship with Echidna and her monster children. I thought that part was complex, nuanced, and created some really interesting layers within the story. I appreciated that Hera's role as a mother helped her to relate to Echidna despite their vast differences. I also thought that Hera's relationship with Athena was really well done. They're not quite enemies, but they aren't allies either. The coolness between them was conveyed really well, and I love that their relationship grows. It doesn't stagnate in anger and hostility. One of my biggest critiques of this book is that it didn't really do anything original. I don't think that it sufficiently challenged the idea that Hera is a jealous wife. In fact, in an odd way, I think it actually accidentally reinforced that stereotype. Hera spends an inordinate amount of time chasing Zeus's lovers and victims and thinking up punishments for them and their children. She becomes obsessive in her pursuit for revenge and cares little for the collateral damage that she leaves in her wake. I wish she had been more nuanced, more thoughtful, and more complex, because I was left feeling like she was kind of of a one-note character. At the end of the day, I felt like this was an overlong book that suffered from a lack of restraint and the fact that Saint wasn't really sure who she wanted Hera to be. There were ample opportunities for this book to take digs at power and corruption, gender inequality, gender violence, and more. We even see a small bit of promise on those themes at the beginning of the book, but it fizzles out quickly, leaving a cartoon character like Hera who is bent on getting revenge against Zeus. Would I recommend this book? It depends. If you're really well versed in Greek mythology, I'm not sure that this book will do enough new and exciting things to be interesting for you. But if you're just a casual fan of Greek mythology retellings and you're not super familiar with Hera's story, you may find this a bit more enjoyable. Overall, my rating for this book is a 3 stars. Means that this is a decent book and possibly worth a read if you're interested in the subject matter, but it's not one that I'm going to rave about. And definitely with all the amazing Greek mythology retellings out there, I don't think that this is a standout. So that's the end of my review of Hera by Jennifer Saint. If you liked it, hit the thumbs up. Comment down below and let me know, are you a fan of Greek mythology retellings? Is this a book that's on your radar? If you are a fan of Greek mythology retellings, which one is your favorite so far? And if you're not already subscribed to my channel, you know what to do. Hit the subscribe button down below, as well as the notification bell so that you never miss a video, and that way we can see each other again soon. Thanks so much for joining. Bye.